Hi, I'm Pox.
Couch Guy.
And I'm Raggable.
You're watching the Two Smart Guys show, where we bring you the latest and greatest in voiding warranties, hacking electronics, and making everything better.
Yes, better is the best way.
And in this week's show, we're showing you how we do the show.
Yeah, we've had a lot of interesting feedback about people wanting to know what it takes to put something like this on. Whether, because everybody's got a web show anymore, it seems like, and yeah, some stick around.
Everybody, their dog does.
But this show had a couple of, I wouldn't say firsts across the entire web, but one of the firsts in a lot of things. You guys did HD first.
Yeah,
you guys
think we were one of the first to do HD.
You guys really did kind of do the skit thing a lot at first.
We still try and squeeze them in every.
No, I'm saying, but like early on, it was just like some guy in front of the camera.
Oh yeah.
And doing it. Like you guys did pre-production more than.
Yes, it was entirely pre-produced.
Yeah. What else? You guys, one of the first hacking shows.
Yeah, I think we came out just before Hack 5, or right around that time that they were coming out with theirs.
So like there was a lot of like there's no such thing as the first, yeah, because on the web there's no such thing as the first. But
I know we were doing video even before there was the video on the podcast store.
Yeah.
Like we were doing BitTorrent for distribution. And
there was no RSS feeds, there was no subscribe, there was basically
it was before, it was even before like YouTube really had taken off.
So one of the questions I got like when we started showing up on like YouTube was, how do you get your USB cord so long on your webcam?
Yeah, about that. The only person in this show right now using a webcam is Raggable.
Yeah.
And you can tell, right? Please tell me you can tell.
It looks pretty crappy on my side.
Well, you can sure as hell tell when I use my webcam.
You're in like a place that should have really fast internet. How do you not have fast internet?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not at my real office. I'm at a client site.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you're like on the backbone of Wyoming right now.
Sort of. Yes. Sometimes we are. Other times we get shut down. I don't know. It's weird. It's still through it's not Bresnan anymore now, is it? It's now Optimum.
We digress.
Okay. Anyways, back to how do we come up with ideas for our shows?
Well, ideas. That's the hardest part.
Well, it used to be we didn't do the show on a regular basis. We used to do the show whenever there was a cool hack that caught our eye or attention. Then we'd do a show on it, like usually within the same day or really fast. And that got kind of difficult to do. We ended up, growing older and having children and things.
Yeah, you guys took quite the break when you guys had kids, didn't you?
Raggable, I think, always had kids, but
yeah.
And but mainly what we do is we just see the news, and whatever is really exciting is what we come up with our ideas for, and then feedback, what people request.
I say right now, I think the biggest one has probably been the feedback that we've had from people watching it and asking for different things. Things that we're interested in, because it's either additions onto, like for instance, like the NASBox has been a breakout from what you guys worked on NASBox 7. He's just re-updated.
Right, yeah, there's just been a lot of people asking about it, so we were like, hey, we should keep working on that.
Yeah, and of course the PSP stuff, the PS3, and any of the hacking.
We got to do another PSP episode. There's a lot of requests.
Yeah, but is there anything that's like big to happen?
I was looking into it, and there's really not.
That's the hardest.
Super huge right now.
To me, that's the hardest thing that we've had to come up with. Is like nothing big has come out of the console hacking since PS3 got jailbroke.
Yeah, everything's been like little side projects. The Kinect, hooking it up to the computer. There's nothing been really, this system's been broken, and then the whole world just kind of jumps in on it.
So, and not to mention the fact that every Tom, Dick, and Harry has demos on.
Yeah, it used to be we were the only ones putting out video tutorials, but now YouTube's full of them.
Well, the issue with YouTube being full of them is they're all just some joker with some handy cam, filming it while he's doing it, and it's all shaky, and you can't hear the audio, and it's It's horrible.
So if you like the quality of our show, it's not like, you know, CNN, but
there's a reason.
There's a reason.
Because you've got
we're not using just a webcam.
$3,000, $5,000 cameras hanging around.
So I was going to go over the software, but I'll go over the hardware reviews real quick.
Well, the hardware is fast.
Yeah, the hardware. I got a Hackintosh here that's doing all the like live processing because we kind of switched to more of a live format. It's an i7 with a
2 years
BV
ago
graphics card.
We started doing shows.
About 2 years ago, and it took about a year to figure it out. Actually, we're still having issues today.
Let's be honest. It took us a year and a half of me and Ragball harping on Pox to stop changing
screwing with his setup
every time, because it was a joke. Those of you who have watched us for more than a year, it used to be Update Wednesday. And I swear to God, every time Ragball and I would
30 minutes before the show, and then when we get the show time,
Ragball and I usually would walk in the door probably 20 minutes before the show. We're like, hey, what's happening? He's like, system's down. Then we'd start the show at 11:30 because that was when we finally got it downloaded, finally got it up, finally got it running.
It's because we were using Boinks, and they kept promising that they fixed like audio sync issues and stuff.
Boinks Update Wednesday was my favorite.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, sweet, this will fix the problem that we've been having. And it just made more, so it was a joke.
That actually brings a really good point, because all those breaks taught us a lot of really cool stuff. One, what not to use.
Yes.
And two, some really cool ways to work around the stupid shit that broke.
Yeah, so like so normally when you do like a live switch show with multiple HD cameras, you have to buy a huge hardware switcher that cost, when we were first looking into it, like $30,000, $40,000, which now they've come down to under $5,000.
Well, and it's a matter of like where.
But they're not HD though, are they? They're just the SD.
Just this NAB, they finally got some HD ones.
Really?
Well, and it's that broadcast side or really low-end consumer side. There's not really like a middle ground where it's like happy, good quality.
So I found a good mixture with the BlackMagic cards.
BlackMagic cards have been nice.
They allow HD inputs, and then the cameras that we're using the Sony Ex1, the X3. I had a Z1U, and then like a
got ran over by a car.
Cheaper little Canon HD camera. That's what we use for our main show that we switch, and we used to film all the skits with. We've also added like a GoPro when we were doing like the in the car, the commute cast.
Yeah, because the commute cast you guys are doing on your cell phones.
Yeah, we were doing the cell phone. I forgot to put that in there.
There was never a setup that would work. There was never a camera that would get both of us.
You either get the video and no audio, or audio and no video. Or
yeah, and the biggest problem with the phones is they overheated after like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
they literally shut off.
Well, didn't the commute cast started out as an audio podcast?
It did.
Yes.
And then we added video because we had to, because otherwise we couldn't have sponsors.
Had to.
Oh. That's your justification.
Well, okay, because
radio has been going on for 100 years without video, but
okay, because our main distribution has always been video.
Gotcha. So you're known as a video source.
Yeah. So I mean, just putting out audio is just kind of.
It was hard to. It basically generated two different RSS feeds, one for the audio podcast and one for the video podcast.
Yeah. So then the Bloggies, you've used your Bloggie.
Yeah,
I got
my Bloggie
me and Raggable one. We've got the T2i.
And they're fine, but they're crappy cameras. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't use them. I mean, they're good for home movies, but they're not.
And they're fine if like you're like CSS or not CSS. Some of the
CES?
when you're walking CES.
Oh, CES. Yes.
Sorry, CES. When you're walking around and you're like just trying to keep like this. Let's be honest. Like I packed this around at DEF CON. One, people run because they now know it's a video camera. And two, it's a pain in my ass. If I want to take this and be like, okay, I'm gonna go stop filming for a while. I'm gonna go, okay, shit.
Yeah, but it's still significantly smaller than the Ex1, which is still a small camera compared to like what you shoot with.
Oh yeah, well,
which is like
this. I'm not exaggerating. But the camera that I shoot with at work.
I remember going up there and just the lens on the camera you shoot with at work was like this big.
The lens I shoot with is longer than this camera. And that's really no exaggeration. I should try and get my camera sometime and just bring it in. No, just to show like this is what a real big camera, like a real camera looks like. And the thing is,
more than life.
I got what?
Cost more than your life.
Yes. I used to
Costs more than my car.
It costs more than 2 of your cars.
And your house.
Yeah. The lens on that camera costs more than you owe on your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's like, you know.
So we're not at that level here, but you know, we're kind of somewhere in between the, you know, the little webcam and.
Well, yeah, on the road it's a completely different beast.
Yeah, so we're on the road. We're using these little Logitech HD cameras.
Yeah, and they're
those are pretty decent.
Yeah, and that's what Raggable's on right now. It's not too bad.
I'm not on that right now. I'm on my
laptop
webcam.
It actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah. So the problem we had, like my laptop, if you ever see the shows running my laptop camera sucks. It doesn't matter how good a connection I have, my laptop camera sucks. So, you know, we found out that like buying these and the little ones is, you know, of benefit to us because at least you can get a higher resolution signal out of them. We experimented. Was the trip to DEF CON the first time you really did that long of a mini cameras? And
oh, yeah. It was the DEF CON live commute cast that was a marathon session of multiple hours with multiple cameras in the car was.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that no one else has done that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the few people.
I want to find someone else who went for 4.5 hours streaming off of nothing but, you know, air cards.
You actually managed to stay streaming for 4 hours straight?
Yeah,
or did you
yeah.
It was pretty close to, like we tapped on and off towards the end a couple times, but we were on for almost 4 hours straight, and then we had to take a 45-minute downtime when we went through Arizona because there was no signal in Arizona.
Wow.
And then about 25-30 minutes outside of Vegas, we got a good enough signal that we finally had a good solid stream going. And we went all the way through Vegas that way.
We even took some callers, live callers.
Yeah.
Video.
It was, you know, it was one of those things that were like, why not?
What are we going to do in the car for like, you know, 12 hours straight?
I remember we tried to do that when we picked up the iPhone 4 for me, and it just didn't work because we didn't have any.
Well, because we were going through Wyoming. See, the next end from Salt Lake down to Vegas is much better.
Yeah.
And also time period too. They've upgraded their networks a lot since then.
And I know that Pox is really envious every time we go to a big convention of the guys that walk around with the backpacks with.
Oh yeah, I gotta make one of those.
What's in the backpack?
It's got the air cards.
They put like 6 air cards in there that are bonded, and then they use a real camera with them, like a like an Ex1 or whatever.
Anyway, so production has transitioned a little bit from the original side of it, where it was
a little. How about a lot?
Production has moved a lot.
So when we do skits, we usually do them with these the 5D or.
We started with the T2i.
Yeah, the T2i.
Because that was, you guys were shooting on the Z1.
Yeah, the Z1U.
For a long time.
For a long time, it was just the Z1U. Then we finally got the
Ex1.
Yeah, and the X1 you guys started using a lot with Beyond the Clipping Plane.
Yeah.
And some of the other skits, and then you went to the T2i.
Right.
And then now we're on the 5D Mark II.
Right, and then we had to start getting second source audio because audio sucks on the DSLRs. This thing has been super handy for the commute cast.
Oh yeah.
It helped a lot with the sound quality of it. We also have a boom mic that we use and these lavaliers. And that's a big thing. Like our audio is
clean for a reason.
Pretty decent compared to a lot of the audio that just sounds like an echoey hallway.
I have to say that's the single biggest mistake that most webcasts, period, it doesn't matter what it is, webcasts use, is they use either the onboard mic of their computer or they use a consumer really crappy one that's on their camera, something like that, whereas we use truly professional microphones.
Except for me, I'm still stuck with my crappy one.
But you get the exception because you're on the remote side. Like, we all use that.
You basically have a lavalier on you.
You just have, you're actually not using the microphone that's actually in the camera though. You're using the microphone that's in your headset, aren't you?
No.
Oh. Well, you suck. But and really,
when I have the Logitech one, I'm using the Logitech as the audio input.
Yeah, but if we all were trying to use that Logitech input, it would sound chaotic.
So we try and pay attention to our audio and give a little bit better video. I think we might have been one of the first podcasts to use a green screen. Like from the second episode, we were using a green screen behind us, and we were showing a lot of tutorials.
You'd always had the green screen. You'd always been ready and capable to chroma key.
Yeah, and now it's almost like a cliche though, but everybody uses it and they're like, oh, it's just a podcast, I have a green screen.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were one of the first, because we had no money for sets or anything like that, and so that's...
Well, and everybody else was doing, basically, not to pick on Ragwell, but be like, okay, whatever's behind me, that's what shot we have. And you see someone just back to back behind him. So like what we see with Ragwell right now will be behind everybody. It would just be like, whatever's there. You know, and you'll still see there are some shows who still do that. But they're on their couch.
Ragwell's got great composition. See how he's not centered? Yeah. He's a little bit off to the side, so it makes your eyes wander. It's one of those. It's
Ragwell's a little off period.
Yeah, so it's an interesting composition. And then the doorknob makes you wonder what's on the other side of the room. What does the door lead to?
That's not a door.
When is someone going to come find out what Ragwell's talking to himself
It shuts
about?
me in. It doesn't open anywhere. Oh, I just ruined the mystery.
Oh, suck. The other part is that there is a lot of pre-production that goes into some of our
some episodes more than others.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of them will spend like months working on trying to get a little thing working right.
Well, back when we very first started, we'd spend a long time trying to get something worked out before we put it out there.
Yeah.
And it would end up biting us on the ass because it would take us too long to put it out there, and by the time we did put it out, it was irrelevant.
It was always a race between getting it out there before, you know, everybody else was doing it and it was still news, and getting a good quality piece out there.
Working easy to use.
Yeah, because we were always trying to do the step-by-step tutorials that you could follow and they worked, as opposed to just like, hey, you can do this, this, and that, and it works.
Yeah. Oh, so, I juggled this over and it works just fine.
Yeah. So we've always tested things out before we've done them on the show. Which
has actually backfired into why some things don't make it on the show right away.
That's true.
AKA 3D projection.
I planned that for 2 weeks ago and it's not happening yet.
Well, and that brings up some other things. Like, in reality, this show doesn't have the largest funding contingent.
No.
So some of the things like we have big plans of have taken a long time to get into because of we just have to build funding to try and get to it.
Right, and in the beginning, it was interesting, and we offered DVDs of the show with like audio commentary, and that was really big.
I like that. That actually gave us a pretty good, revenue stream.
That helped us
support other stuff.
But
some equipment based on that.
As the internet quality of video went up from like the crap that it was to start with, there was less need for people wanting the DVDs, and I don't know. And our shows, we tried to make them more frequent, so that,
well, yeah, as soon as the shows became more frequent, they became less, I don't want to say less special in terms of like, oh, there's a new one, there's one every week now, which has done two things. It's kind of balanced out the predictability of the revenue stream a little bit, but it's the, how people get there. It's bringing predictability, but it's, not special hacks on PSP hacking version 17, It's,
oh, but I love the long titles, and they're great for SEO.
Yeah, they're not good for SEO. They just need good for metadata. That's what they are.
Okay, so not the last, but one of the last things is the software that I use.
The software is pretty intense. You have a lot of software.
Yeah, so we talked about Wirecast is what we switched to from Boinks TV for live switching.
So what you see happening right now if you're watching a live stream, anything that when we switch cameras, things like that, if you're watching the live stream, that's Wirecast.
Yeah.
Anything you see on the web after the live stream goes through post-production.
Yeah, so it was like it was originally Edius, and then it was Speed Edit, and then it was Final Cut.
It's version something.
6 and 7, and now it's Final Cut X.
Yeah.
And
just being those, it could be a part of Motion, or it could be part of After Effects, or it could be a part of.
I do a lot of the skits involve Lightwave 3D.
Yeah.
A lot of the work that we did for Beyond the Clipping Plane was After Effects.
Yeah, After Effects. So there's a lot of different. Oh, Photoshop. It's just.
Oh, the background. The
background's always been modified in Photoshop. The icons.
I think that's pretty much a given these days for anything.
It could have been GIMP. It could have been.
Try GIMP. I feel bad for my poor wife.
Every time I've tried to use GIMP, I just feel like a GIMP.
Yeah, it is difficult.
And then I got some new toys that I haven't even got a chance to play with yet. I feel so bad.
Oh yes,
I've got.
Well, we tested it out one time.
There is one shot
intro, but
of the slider, the Philip Bloom slider.
Yeah.
so I can get some like cool like sliding shots. I got this cool little pocket or Pico Dolly that can roll around, so I can keep this and do like cool little product shots when I'm away on trips and things.
Well, the nice thing is now you've pretty much got your camera situation locked in. We know we have a predictable.
And then I got a big old jib too, which will be fun for like beyond the clipping plane and stuff. We can do. Did you
ever put out some of the demo shots we got with the jib?
No, I never released anything of it online yet.
You should probably like put a compilation of the jib shots and the dolly shots and Pico Dolly.
So those will be things to look forward to, especially when we get to doing some more skits and finishing up beyond the clipping plane someday.
You notice how Regal has to leave just to laugh about that.
Oh.
I'll write it sometime when I'm not busy working 14 hours a day. How about that?
No.
So, anyway, we've had a lot of requests trying to ask us all the stuff we use. It's every time we do a new scenario, we kind of change little bits and pieces of it, but that's kind of the basics of what you have in the show.
Yeah, it's slowly evolved over the course of the years.
The live show dramatically has changed over the last 2 years. That's for sure, because we keep on fidgeting with things, trying to make it predictable and working.
So, we're giving away stickers, the Two Smart Guys stickers, trivia.
Is that a sticker?
Well, no, it's just a circle.
Like,
I thought you actually had one for a second.
We're giving away Two Smart Guys stickers, and this is the small one.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah. And so I was thinking the trivia question on this.
Give away the big one.
What would be a good trivia question?
Something to do with our old shows?
The first.
Yeah, I was thinking like, what would be a good question? Like, what's the name of the artist that did the rap?
Oh.
For like one of the PSP episodes.
It's
in the credits of that episode.
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first started doing the show, we asked people to write music for us, and we got some really cool stuff. We got like this cool like Star Wars mix thing from this guy in Europe, and we got this rapper guy that did some stuff, and it was pretty fun.
I think we used Railman's voice for one of the episodes too.
He's not the same person. That was Remilius. Not Railman, because I thought he was Railman. I thought they were the same person.
Oh, my bad, Railman. Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Railman. Anyways,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
so which episode was it, though?
Exactly, you got to find out. Oh.
Which episode was it, and who was the artist?
Exactly, which episode and who was the artist?
Okay. Fair enough.
And I think it's the only rap song we have.
You can catch us at YouTube.
Yep.
You can catch us on iTunes. You can catch us on a bunch of different places.
Yeah,
somewhere in this, wherever you watch us at, there's a button that says subscribe.
Yeah, links to all the different places where you can see us at twosmartguys.com.
Just hit the button.
Can you hit a button inside of Justin TV?
No.
And we do the show every Monday. We got a new show that's on our website, and we do a live craziness show every Wednesday night at twosmartguys.com/live.
Really, if you want to see some craziness, because what you see on the YouTube feed is what's been honed down. If you want to see really how bad it can get, you have to watch the Wednesday nights. Last week, me and Ragwell went on it for like 2.5 hours over stuff that I hope no one ever sees again.
Yeah, I already forgot.
Yeah, I didn't feel like bleeping it out, and I didn't release it.
But Ragwell, I do propose that if there's a time when you're in town, even if it's on a weekend, we must have a drinking show.
Yes.
Because we got to find sake or something that he'll drink.
Just caffeine would do enough for me.
That's true. We need to have more. That was actually really fun. We'll end this. We'll say, see you guys next time.
Okay. Yeah. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
This has been the Two Smart Guys production.
It be PSP hacking to the 101. You better respect her, I'ma pop you with my gun. I be strapping my PSP with all the new brew. Pimp, streamer, and homebrew tags for you. They got so much dough, it ain't even stackable. You know who they be, it be Pox and Wreckable. They teaching you hacking clearer than glass. It's like they force feeding this stuff up your ass. Raggable and Pox, they teach you real nice. They win when they gamble, they know how to throw their dice. These gangsters right here, they icier than ice. So before you talk about them, you better think twice.
I'm Raggable.
Oh, now you're raggable, huh? I'm Pox.
Who the hell should I be?
I don't know. Normally I'm Pox and I'm raggable. Not I'm raggable and I'm Pox.
I had to cover for your mistake.
Okay.
Go again?
No, you go ahead and be raggable.
No, you can be Raggable.
I'm raggable.
I'm Pox.